Hi, today I will be discussing giving a very brief overview of sonata form. So why is this important? Number one, it's important because many pieces of instrumental music use sonata form, particularly from Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven onwards, up until at least the early part of the 20th century. And even then, there are still pieces that will utilize it. Why? Well, because it's a useful way to build tension and to structure an instrumental piece. It's also a very deep kind of topic. I took a whole course on it in college, and that was just analyzing Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven sonatas, and symphonies and string quartets, so on. Because that's the other thing. So the sonata form is typically used in the first movement of a piano sonata, cello sonata, violin, anything that has sonata in the title, but also of symphonies and string quartets, as well as many other pieces of chamber music, such as a piano trio or a string quintet even, typically use sonata form. And this is mostly for the 140 years or so from the early classical era, so like early Haydn, all the way up to very early 20th century. So that's why it's important. But it can also become really complicated. So I'm going to give a very brief overview, though, of how you as a listener can be able to understand sonata form. It's actually the main bird's eye view. It's pretty simple. It's a tripartite structure, so there's three big sections. You have your exposition, so that's your opening that presents all of the ideas. Your development, which is the middle, that develops, that changes them, it breaks them apart, puts them in new keys, puts them in different moods, different textures, and so on. Then you have a recapitulation, so a return, that's the third section, a return to the exposition. And this allows you a lot of creative freedom. There's lots of different ways in which you can kind of stretch these boundaries and change them and move them and so on. But this general idea of introducing ideas, taking them, changing them into something else, and then returning back, usually affected by the journey, as it were, is a great way to structure an instrumental piece. And even if you don't follow the technical rules of sonata form, many good pieces of music tend to do exactly what I just said. Introduce ideas, right? Do something with them, and then kind of try to end in a way that allows some kind of satisfaction, or something of like, oh, the piece is over. We went somewhere. So that's the general idea behind sonata form. So now I'm going to stop this video and start the next one, where I actually explain in more detail how sonata form kind of works. So this isn't the fun part, because I'm not playing any music. This is just the general kind of overview of what we're looking at with sonata form. Thank you.